Alright guys, now we're ready for the next video. This video is going to be about quarterbacks. Quarterbacks in this upcoming draft class and our thoughts about them, where we value them, how we think their potential will fit. Just a little fun, short little video that we decided we're going to make. And Trent, let's start it off since you're right at it.
Alright, so are we going to start with Kyler Murray or end with Kyler Murray? He's the most important
Surprise me.
quarterback.
Surprise me.
Alright,
now.
so let's start talking about Drew Lock.
Drew Lock.
Yeah.
Kid out of Missouri.
How do you feel about Drew Lock?
He's got a little arm.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a little irrational decisions sometimes.
Yeah.
He's got okay sense of pressure that he can feel. His footwork's a little sloppy sometimes. Can definitely recraft. I've been thinking about who I could compare this guy to. I just can't.
Yeah, it's a hard thing.
I can't think of anybody that I can really compare him to. I was thinking about this earlier in the shower. I was just contemplating, who does Drew Lock resemble? I was like, wears an arm sleeve. He's white, kind of tall. I think he's a taller Johnny Manziel.
No.
But not at all.
No, not at all.
Just looks like a taller Johnny Manziel, but he's
You
not.
know, he reminds me a little bit of, like, Ryan Tannehill with a better arm. Significantly better arm. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the footwork, you look at the throw motion, you look at the decision making, kind of, you can see it. You can see it a little bit.
I think he resembles Blaine Gabbert coming out as a prospect, not an NFL player.
Yeah, as a prospect.
That's my comp for him. That's his, not his ceiling or his NFL player. That's his college comparison. So the guy Blaine Gabbert was supposed to be, that's Drew Lock for you. Next.
So, we'll get into that a little bit more. Where do you value Drew Lock as far as draft positioning?
Well, the highest I can see him being taken, to me, is 13 at the Dolphins, but
not the highest you could see him taking, but how high would you take him if you were a GM?
If I was a GM, he wouldn't be going until mid-second round.
Really?
Yeah.
I really like Drew Lock. I think Drew Lock has everything that you need in a franchise quarterback as far as raw ability goes. If you get him with a good quarterbacks coach, maybe a good veteran QB, his decision making, it can get better. Footwork, it can get better. We've seen players get better with footwork, especially Patrick Mahomes this past year. The work he did in 1 year, immense. And I think if Drew Lock gets 1 year under his belt, or even maybe just half a year of learning how to be an NFL quarterback, he could be a franchise guy. I really like Drew Lock. I would take him as high as number 10. Number 10.
All right, guys, we're gonna be talking about Tyree Jackson, a mobile quarterback out of Buffalo. He's got a decent arm, has some accuracy issues. He's 6'7", I'm pretty sure.
I thought he was 6'8".
Or 6'8", whatever.
He's tall.
Don't get us wrong. He is tall. He's about as tall as Zion Williamson. He's probably gonna lose
He's taller than Zion Williamson. Zion's 6'6".
No, he's not.
Yeah.
6'7".
He's 6'6".
6'7", 6'8".
He's 6'6". Check his list of height. You can do that after the video. But getting into Tyree Jackson, I'm not a big fan of him. He's fast. He can't make people miss. He's fast, but he's not a running quarterback. He's not going to run people over. He's not going to make people miss. He's just fast.
You're just a hater.
He's got a big arm, but he still can't hit you on the numbers throwing 50 yards down the field. He can throw at 50, not accurately.
Not that accurate.
Not very accurately. Not as accurate as he needs to be. Takes too many chances that if he was playing at a higher level would be picks. Doesn't have great footwork. Doesn't have a great throwing motion. It's kind of a long throwing motion. He's very similar to a more athletic Paxton Lynch. Or maybe a super athletic Brock Osweiler.
I think he can be a baby Cam Newton.
He's bigger.
If he like baby in the sense.
Younger.
Baby in the sense, that he's younger, that he's not as well
quite as
crafted
good.
coming out.
Okay.
Yeah. In that sense of being a baby Cam Newton. But I think that he could bring his game up to that level because he's never going to fix his accuracy issues because of how tall he is, and he can still drive the ball and he can run well, which I really like, and I really think that he finds a good system, find a good place.
Yeah.
To be.
Tyree Jackson's the guy who, if he gets in the right system, having the type of physical skills and abilities that he has, it's scary. If you can find someone to develop him and teach him how to be an NFL quarterback, he's going to be great. I think a perfect fit would be the Patriots. You know, get under Josh McDaniels, sit under Tom Brady a couple years, learn how to be a quarterback, and then have Josh McDaniels probably be your head coach once Bill Belichick retires.
I'd like to see him in Cincinnati.
Really?
Yeah, I'd like to see him in Cincinnati.
Could you elaborate on that?
I'd like to see him in Cincinnati simply for the fact that who's that quarterback?
Zach Taylor?
Yeah, I think Zach Taylor could mold him into being the guy that he needs to be. Won't make him a pocket passer. Will let him do his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let him learn the game under a guy that developed Jared Goff, maybe. That would help bring him up in the NFL.
Yeah.
But I value Tyree Jackson as a 4th to 6th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Late day 2, early day 3 guy that I feel like a team's really going to have interest in.
Yeah, I think he's a guy that, in my opinion, I take him like mid-5th to early 6th. And that's just because of the raw ability. If he didn't have, say if he ran like a 4.7 instead of the 4.5 that he ran, I would have drafted him. Because everything about his technique is so bad, in my opinion, and so wonky that it's going to be very hard to develop him. But if you can, you have an elite guy and a Steph Curry type guy who's going to change the way the NFL looks at quarterbacks.
I like that comparison.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Ryan Finley out of NC State.
Yeah, Ryan Finley, he could have came out last year. I thought he was going to. I think people were pretty high on him last year.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but I guess everybody fell off and he didn't perform as well this year. But I think he's a solid guy. I think he's a guy that is a pure pocket passer. West Coast system, he'll fit perfectly in with that. He has great mechanics. I think he had good weapons at NC State and pieces around him. I think he made them better. Maybe not everything was all him, but he works well as a team player. A good Andy Dalton type guy, where you put pieces around him, he's going to be able to deliver for you. And I value him like I value a little bit higher than Tyree Jackson. I value him as a 4th round quarterback.
Yeah, last year he was kind of being talked about like maybe a 1st round quarterback. He was up in those type of conversations. Decided to come back a year, and for most college quarterbacks, that's a good decision. But he kind of became engulfed in the system, so he didn't have a worse season, but he didn't prove anything wrong, so he just kind of fell out of default. But he's a guy, he doesn't have a great arm, but he has an arm that can get the ball where it needs to go. He's elite accuracy. He's got great mechanics, and he's a guy that I think is going to be a really good backup. Maybe he'll get a couple chances to start throughout his career, but no one's going to rely on him as a starter for more than 1 or maybe 2 years max. But, you know, he's going to be a really good backup, and he's just going to be a guy that can step in and do what you need him to do and get him out.
What's the value?
I'd take him early 4th, late 3rd, because he's someone that can step in immediately and be legit.
All right, the next guy that we're going to be talking about Kyle Shurmur, the quarterback from Vanderbilt. He's son of Pat Shurmur, the Giants head coach. He was Vanderbilt's one of their best quarterbacks of all time in that school. I don't know all the records of
I think
anything.
he had most yards in a career and most touchdowns in a season. I think those were his 2 records. But
yeah, well, he was good. He was
very
good
productive.
He was very productive, very good for Vanderbilt. He has great size, length. I think that he's a very smart guy, and he knows how to play the game. His athleticism may not be up to speed with what the NFL is looking for nowadays.
It's not bad.
But it isn't bad. Like,
Tony Romo type athleticism.
Yeah, he's a little taller though.
Mm-hmm.
I think his footwork's pretty decent. I really like this guy. I think he's going to be able to come in, and he could start day 1 in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening. I don't see somebody really risking it all for him. But if I was the GM, I would take him in the 3rd round, simply for the fact that he has a father that was an NFL coach, so he knows what he's going to be able to do, and he knows defense as well. He knows offense very well. He's going to be a very smart kid. He went to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is one of the best schools in the country.
Yeah.
And let's play ball.
Yeah, he's going to understand the NFL. He's going to understand NFL defenses, playing in the SEC, having an NFL head coach as a father, and basically growing up around the game. He's very developed mentally, great football IQ. He's got everything you want as far as arm talent goes. I mean, he's perfectly accurate. I've seen him make throws that your average college quarterback can't make. I don't really know why he's not being talked about more. I'm really high on him too. He's got the arm strength. He's got the footwork. He's got the throwing motion. He's not great under pressure. He gets a little
Antsy.
yeah. His footwork kind of goes out the window. So I mean, maybe if that's a big issue, then I could see him falling. But he's a guy. He has everything you want, traditionally speaking, out of an NFL quarterback, and I think he is a guy who could start day one.
What'd you value for him?
I value him maybe as high as a mid-second. I haven't watched a lot of film on him, but what I have watched I've liked, so that's why I say a mid-second. But maybe watching more film and with what everyone's saying, fall to like a fifth. But right now, without watching more on him, I'd say about a mid-second. All right, so let's move on to the next guy. Go ahead and talk about maybe the next great North Dakota State quarterback. No? All right, so we're going to talk about Easton Stick. He's a guy who people who were diving into the mock draft and scouting thing early in the season kind of knew about, but after the combine, everyone started talking about him. He ran in the 4.5s, I think. He looked pretty good in the drills, and he just had a really good combine, athletically speaking, and with the throwing drills. So what do you think about Easton Stick?
Yeah, he's a big body for sure. He's athletically gifted. He can play other positions. I think he can play tight end as well. He can play an H-back.
Well, he's not tall, but he's built.
Yeah.
He's built very well.
He can do it all as a quarterback. I think he can be a Taysom Hill type guy, a guy that can be a little weapon, and you can utilize him in different ways. And that's something that coaches value now, is being able to use other guys and throwing the ball, catching the ball, running the ball, whatever you need him to do, that he'll go and do.
Do you ever see him being able to be a starter for a team?
I don't think he'll ever be a starter. I think he'll be a career backup, and a filler player, like like I just said.
Yeah. He's a really intriguing guy. I also don't think he's gonna ever be a starter. He'll be a pretty good backup, maybe even third stringer. But he's a guy who, athletically and with everything that he did at the FCS level, you got to talk about him because he's shown ability to be a good quarterback. So I think getting drafted to the Chiefs would be a perfect spot. He can go in, do everything that Taysom Hill kind of does, and be a backup quarterback that can fit that system pretty perfectly, and kind of open it up a little bit more. I've never seen, well, never mind, Andy Reid with Michael Vick, that type of play style. That would be fun to watch if Pat Mahomes ever got hurt and Easton Stick stepped in.
Yeah, I think he has good value in the late 5th, early 6th round, and that's where I think he should go.
Yeah, I think he's a 6th-round pick.
Now we're going to talk about Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins, he's from Ohio State. He put up a lot of numbers this year, played very well. Dwayne Haskins, he's the only season he's really ever played against competition. So it's hard to say what he could do in the NFL, but he's thrown the ball exceptionally well at his pro day at the combine. I think he's going to be able to go top 15. I don't know exactly where. That's where I would value him in this draft. I value him top 15 quarterback, but I do think he is the best quarterback in this draft class, not Kyler Murray, and he should be taking it for him, but he won't, simply because of the.
Yeah, I agree with you. Dwayne Haskins is by far the best quarterback in this draft, and I would take him number 1 overall if I were a GM. I think he's the best quarterback to come out of college, not play on the NFL field, but coming out of college, he's the best quarterback since like Jared Goff, Carson Wentz. I value him very highly. I don't understand why people say this quarterback class is so bad when you have 3 guys that should be first-round picks, in my opinion, and a slew of other guys who can step in and be really good backups, fringe starters. I mean, a few years ago, we saw the Bears trade up and take Mitch Trubisky, being a redshirt sophomore with 1 year starting, and he didn't do nearly what Dwayne Haskins was able to do at Ohio State. I mean, granted, you can say Dwayne Haskins had a better coaching staff, he had better weapons, which is true, but he played in a harder division. He played in a harder conference. And
And
yeah, the Big Ten is by far better than the ACC.
maybe this year. Back then,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
never.
But Dwayne Haskins doubled Mitch Trubisky's production in that one season that they both had in college. And on film, he does everything better than him. And Mitch Trubisky was valued at, what was he taking, number 3?
2.
Number 2 overall.
Yeah, they traded up, go number 2 with the 49ers. Whenever the 49ers didn't even need a quarterback.
Yeah. And Dwayne
Yeah.
Haskins
Bears.
is by far better than Mitch Trubisky.
Well, I think Mitch Trubisky's just a glorified Christian Potter, but that's another
Yeah.
argument for the day.
Yeah, kind of is. And, I mean, if you value him that high, I don't understand why people aren't valuing Dwayne Haskins higher.
Yeah.
He's a great quarterback. He can make all the throws. He's smart. He can play in a pro system. Ohio State does run a pro system. It's kind of a spread, but people see a spread and they're like, oh, it's just a college system. Everyone in the NFL runs a spread, basically. He's in a pro system, and he's making pro calls and doing everything you want out of a quarterback.
Yep.
He's an elite.
All right, next quarterback I want to talk about is Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones is an interesting guy because he has a wide range of where he should be going.
Yeah.
I've seen him going first round. I've also seen him going in the 4th round. I think he's a second round guy with not as much upside as maybe other guys in this draft, but he's got a good arm. He's got he's uniquely athletic, and he's great in the West Coast system. The way Duke ran their West Coast system, he played fantastic, and I think that he could translate that into the NFL.
Yeah, I'm not high on Daniel Jones at all. I don't think he's any different than Ryan Finley. I mean, he's never going to be a franchise quarterback. He's going to be that fringe starter, the backup. He does everything that Ryan Finley does, same type of way, just as accurate, but just arm strength, same. He's just a little taller, a little more athletic. That's the only thing setting him apart. And for people to say that Ryan Finley's a 5th round pick and Daniel Jones is a 1st round pick because he's got 1 more inch of height and he runs like a 1/10 of a second faster, he's not anything special. I don't like Daniel Jones.
Quarterback that we are going to talk about is Mr. Stidham from Auburn. Well, it's Jared Stidham, but
Yeah.
he's,
So, Jared-
he's just very conservative,
Yeah.
very boring.
He's very game manager.
Game manager, take you to sleep guy. That's how I'm feeling right now.
And Jared Stidham plays in that system that everyone says a college system, that everyone likes to say about every college football team. But Jared Stidham actually does play in that type of system. And he's very field general. He's very check down, Charlie. He's just, yeah, he doesn't have great arm strength. He's accurate. He's not elite accurate.
So he's a 5.
Yeah.
So he's a 5, like I was saying earlier.
Yeah. He's
a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take him like 5th round. There's not a lot to say about him. He's just, he might make your roster. He might be a backup.
He will make your roster.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about wannabe Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, he is a great talent. He is a special being. Don't let me get that wrong. He's a great baseball player, and he won the Heisman Trophy. He's a great 2-sport athlete, but he's not an NFL quarterback, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to be a great NFL quarterback. I think he would have been better off playing baseball. I think he's lesser Russell Wilson. I think he wants to be Russell Wilson, but he isn't Russell Wilson. But he's going to go number 1.
Maybe.
Cardinals are going to try it out for a year or 2, and we'll see how that goes. And then Kyler Murray's going to go leave and go play baseball because he's going to be like, screw the Cardinals, I don't like it here in Arizona anymore. I want to go back to Oakland.
I think that's a very strong possibility. Kyler Murray probably should have played baseball, but,
I like Kyler Murray, don't get me wrong. But
he is a playmaker. I will say that.
that's all he does.
He makes huge plays. Okay? So in the running the ball, he's always a threat. Whenever he goes and scrambles, he keeps his eyes down the field until he crosses the line of scrimmage. He does do that very well. Under pressure, don't really know how well he does. He gets a little frantic when he does get pressure, but he didn't get pressured that often at Oklahoma, so it's kind of hard to tell how he reacts. He always reacts in, like, every single time he makes a play, he's trying to be the hero. That's the one problem. He's going to force passes. He's going to have a lot of turnovers. He's going to take a lot of unnecessary hits. Kyler Murray is someone who wants to be the hero in every single play. And it's going to cost him big time, especially his rookie year. But if he's able to learn how to be an NFL quarterback, then athletically and talent-wise, he's got everything you want. Mentally, I don't think he's completely checked into football. I don't think he's got the personality of a franchise QB. He's not great with interviews. I don't know how great his IQ is. And mentally, I don't know if he's got it above the shoulders.
Well, I think he's got it a little bit, enough to know that he knows what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Might not project his voice on because he's not the tallest, but hey, is that all you have to say?
Yeah, I mean, if he learns how to be an NFL quarterback and he's got the leadership ability and he's got the ability to be everything you want out of a franchise QB off the field, he'll be fine.
Well, that's going to wrap up our video.